Although we haven't seen a lot in the way of gameplay for this game, we do know when it's coming out, and that is indeed a remake of one of the industry's most cherished games. How's it going, good people? In today's video, we are going to be looking at no other than The Last of Us Part 1, a remake built from the ground up for the PS5 of The Last of Us, which was released 9 years ago on the PlayStation 3. Included in this package is the story DLC for the game, entitled The Last of Us Left Behind, which gives us a few more hours with Ellie as we learn more about her backstory with her dear friend Riley, while also giving context to the events that play later on in the story of the original game. As of now, there has been no confirmation or news regarding the highly regarded multiplayer mode for The Last of Us. Its omission from the reveal trailer is leaving fans worried that the mode will not be present in the game. At the very least, not at launch anyway. With pre-order editions of the game surfacing at online retailers with a promising release date of September 2nd of this year, we also see that there is no mention of the original's multiplayer modes and instead are charging players for various gear enhancements and unlocks near the start of the game, along with a steel case and other goodies. Now, without further ado, let's dive into what to expect with this game and discuss all that we know about The Last of Us Part 1. The Last of Us Part 1, as mentioned earlier, is a quote-unquote faithful remake of The Last of Us, a game that came out in 2013 as one of the PS3's final heavy-hitting titles. As great as that game was and still is, the confirmation of a remake from the ground up for the PlayStation 5 and later PC of a 9-year-old game is leaving many players scratching their heads. We've got two camps of people. Those eager to replay this masterpiece of a game with its tweaks in graphics, controls, and accessibility options, and those who feel like the game's asking price of $70 for a remake of an already fine-playing game is a bit too steep, especially if there is no online multiplayer. For a remake of a game that is charging a full $70 for a game that many have played already dozens of times, developer Naughty Dog is promising it's going to be a worthwhile return to the franchise, as the game has essentially been built from the ground up, utilizing the extra power of the PS5, creating more intense, visceral moments of action, dread, and wonder that the original did 9 years ago. Here we can see that the game indeed looks a bit better. The new lighting makes the game a bit more photorealistic than the original, and the character models all look a bit better, especially during the gameplay, of which was hardly shown off here. It looks like the foliage in this game is a lot thicker and denser, with vines covering buildings more fully and with patches of grass being denser and thicker as well. The game just looks a bit better, as one would hope with an asking price of $70. Just look at the clicker scene here compared to the one on the PS3 version. We can see so much more detail in the warping of the clicker's face. And special mention needs to go out to Joel's watch, as we can see some high-level glare being done here as his watch catches the light from a nearby source. This is all incredibly well done, and certainly promising for what's to come. What we saw in this trailer is all very promising in the graphics department, but what we need to see more of is the gameplay of this title. Developer Naughty Dog has promised that this game plays much more akin to that of The Last of Us Part 2, with enhanced controls, more fluid animations, and more emergent and dynamic gameplay, with enemies reacting more realistically to your movements this time around. The original The Last of Us hasn't exactly aged perfectly since its release 9 years ago, being a little bit clunky, especially in its melee combat, and also with some pretty spotty AI. Although much of it was remedied in The Last of Us Part 2, it'll be interesting to see how much further they can take the gameplay, seeing as it was developed exclusively for the PlayStation 5. Hopefully we can see this game introduce some things that enhance The Last of Us Part 2 in the gameplay department, including the ability to go prone. With much more foliage in this remake, including more dense patches of tall grass and reeds to pass through, hopefully we can see this game add prone movement, as this additional gameplay complements the greater focus of more overgrowth in its environments. Other than this, we know nothing else about the game, other than its release date of September 2nd, 2022, and its enhanced accessibility options. Naughty Dog has said that this remake aims to be very faithful to the original, while also tweaking the graphics, modernizing the gameplay, and adding a slew of accessibility features. As for the faithfulness to the original is concerned, I am left wondering if there will be any additional story content chapters added to the game, further incentivizing fans to return to the title. As an owner of the original back on the PS3 and also The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, I am hoping for something a little bit more substantial to the game other than just a graphical facelift with enhanced gameplay. But what about all of you? Are you interested in picking up The Last of Us Part 1? Do you think there will be any new gameplay added to this remake? Missed the multiplayer? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as dropping a big fat like on this video and subscribing to the channel. I make content like this, as well as tips and tricks videos, reviews, and more surrounding the industry's latest and greatest games. So if that's something that interests you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay awesome, good people. Peace.